Hello everyone. So in the last video we talked about the closure set of attributes and we discussed how closure set of attributes can be used to find out additional functional dependencies in the relation schema. In this video we are going to talk about another application of closure set of attributes which is used to find out the candidate key or super key of the relation schema. Okay, so this is how it will be, and I wanted to just go through the definitions of and differences between super key, candidate key, because the questions can be asked, or it is also useful even if you don't consider the questions. It's useful to know what is super key, what is candidate key, so that you don't get confused, that when if they ask super key then you don't go for candidate key, when candidate key is asked you don't find out the super key. So you need to know the difference between these. So I just wanted to revise all of those, and once I cover this I will move on to examples, some previous year gate questions, and we will solve that in this video. And let's begin. So what is a super key? Let's first talk about that. A super key, why is it used? We have also studied in the previous videos why is it used. Super key is used to identify each tuple in the relation schema uniquely, right? It is the set of attributes which whose value, if it is given, we can find out the value of all the attributes in the relation schema, right, for one particular tuple. So that is a super key. Super key is used to uniquely identify each tuple in the relation schema. So what is the definition? A super key is a set of attributes S, which is a subset of R, with the property that no two tuples T1 and T2 in any legal relation state of R will have T1 of S is equal to T2 of S, which means no two tuples in any relation schema will have the same value for S, where S is the super key, right? Only then we can uniquely identify each tuple in the relation schema, when for two tuples we don't have the same value, right? If we have the same value, then we cannot say that it is a super key. Okay, now let's talk about key. What is the difference between super key and key? Now key is minimal super key. Okay, key is what so super key is a kind of superset of key. Okay, and key is something that is minimal. So you cannot remove any attribute from key and expect that we will still be able to identify every tuple in a relation schema using the key. Okay, so key is minimal super key. Okay, so let's say AB is the key for the relation schema. So ABC can be superset, and ABC is a superset of AB, and ABC is also called as the super key, right? Even if you remove C, you will still, with AB you will be able to identify the tuple uniquely, right? Let's say if we have a relation schema and AB is the key for relation schema, right? So if ABC can be the super key, right? Key is what? Key is minimal super key, that if you remove any attribute from the key, let's say if I remove B, I will not be able to uniquely identify each tuple in the relation schema using only A. That is the key. That is, we cannot remove any attribute and still be able to uniquely identify each tuple. But with super key we can still remove. We can remove C, and using AB we will still be able to identify each tuple in the relation schema. Okay, so let's say if AB is the key of the relation schema, then ABC is also the key. If D is there, if D is also an attribute in the relation schema, then ABD can also be the super key. ABCD can also be the super key. Okay, so all of these probabilities exist, but the key has to be minimal. Okay, you cannot remove any attribute from key and expect that the same property will still hold. Okay, so that is how a key, what is the definition? A key K is a super key with the additional property that removal of any attribute from K will cause K not to be a super key anymore. That is, if you remove, then you cannot identify each tuple uniquely. Key has to be minimal. Okay, that is the minimum number of attributes that are required to identify each tuple uniquely. Okay, now what are candidate keys, what are primary keys, and what are secondary keys? So for any relation schema, if we have more than one key, if we have many keys, right, then they are called as the candidate keys. Okay, and if we have more than one keys, then we call it as candidate keys, and we will designate one of those candidate keys to be the primary key. Okay, and the other candidate keys are called as the secondary key. Okay, for example, let's say in the relation schema we have, let me come to this side. So for example, let's say in the relation schema we have two keys, let's say ABC and CD. Okay, these keys have been identified, that is using these two we can uniquely identify each tuple in the relation schema. So let's say if we designate this to be the primary key, so these both can be used to identify each tuple uniquely in the relation schema. If I say that for this particular relation schema I will use this particular key, then it is called as the primary key, right? And this will be the secondary key. Okay, so this is how it works. So this is the difference. I hope I am clear with all of this, right? And then we talk about prime attribute. Okay, what is the prime attribute? A prime attribute is any attribute that is part of any candidate key of R. Okay, so let's say we have three candidate keys. Let's say ABC is a key, CD is a key, DE is a key, and our relational schema contains A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so if these three are candidate keys, then A, B, C, these are prime attributes. C, D, these are prime attributes, and D, E is also prime attribute. Let's say so much prime attributes are there. Let's say E, F, G, H, I. So practically that does not happen usually. Like it can happen, but let's take a more practical example. So let's say these three are candidate keys. So which are prime attributes? If we are asked to name the prime attributes of that particular relation schema, we will say A, B, C, D, E. Okay, because prime attribute is what? If it is a part of any candidate key, then it is a prime attribute. What are the non-prime attributes here? F, G, H, I. Because what are non-prime attributes? What is the definition of non-prime attribute? Non-prime attributes are the attributes that are not a part of any candidate key of R. Okay, that do not belong to any that are not member of any candidate key of R. So F is not a member of any candidate key. This G is also not a member of any candidate key. H is not a member of any candidate key. I is also not a member. So these are non-prime attributes and these are prime attributes. Okay, so let's see the definition. An attribute of a relation schema R is called a prime attribute of R if it is a member of some candidate key of R. Right? When will it be called prime attribute? When if it is a part of some candidate key of R. Okay. Now an attribute is called non-prime. When is the attribute called non-prime? An attribute is called non-prime if it is not a member of any candidate key. Some and any. Okay. Some, any candidate key, if you are a part, you are a prime. Any candidate key, none of the candidate keys you are a part, so it is non-prime, right? So I hope these definitions and these examples are clear. Now we will move on to solving some previous year questions from GATE, and then you will understand what I am talking about and how to find the candidate keys in a relation schema. Okay. So this is the question that was asked in GATE 2013. What does it say? Relation R has 8 attributes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Fields of R contain only atomic values. Okay, and these are some functional dependencies that are given. F is equal to CH gives G, A gives BC, B determines CFH, E determines A, F determines EG. Now this is the set of FTs that hold on R. Okay, and it is asking how many candidate keys this particular relation R have. Okay, so first step in finding any first step in finding the candidate key is you write down all the attributes. Okay, and find out all the attributes that are not present on the right hand side of any functional dependency. That is, identify all the attributes that are not present on the right hand side of any functional dependency. Why are we doing that? Is any attribute that does not fall on the right hand side of any functional dependency, it is not dependent on any other set of attributes, which means that particular attribute cannot be determined by any other set of attributes. You are getting my point? If an attribute is not present on the right hand side of any functional dependency, it means that that particular attribute is not dependent on any other set of attributes. Okay, so in order to determine its value, we have to include that as a part of candidate key because it is not dependent on any other attribute. Okay, let's see in this example. So now find out all attributes that appear on the right hand side of any functional dependency. Okay, find out all attributes that are present on the right hand side of any functional dependency and segregate the ones that do not appear on the right hand side of any functional dependency. For example, here if you see, G appears on the right hand side of some functional dependency, BC appear on the right hand side of any functional dependency. CFH appear on the right hand side of any functional dependency. So C is already marked, F and H. Okay, A appears on the right hand side of some functional dependency, A. EG appears on the right hand side of some functional dependency. So which attribute is not appearing on the right hand side of any functional dependency is D. So you identify that D cannot be determined, or D is not functionally dependent on any particular attribute or any particular set of attributes. D is not dependent on them. Okay, so in order to determine the value of D, it has to be included in the candidate key, because otherwise you can never find out, because it is not dependent on anyone. Okay, so D has to be a part of candidate key. Now let us find out D plus and C. So now we are finding out the candidate keys. What is a candidate key? Candidate key is a minimal super key, right? Minimal means least number of attributes that we can find, or least number of attributes that we have to include in that particular candidate key, right? What is candidate key? It is minimal, right? They are not asked to find the super keys. We are asked to find the candidate key, that is the minimal. So what is the minimum number of attributes that a candidate key can have? 1. So let's start with one attribute, and since D needs to be included in the candidate key, let's start with D and see if D is enough to find out any the set of all attributes of the relation schema. What can D find out? Now D does not also appear on the left hand side of any functional dependency. So D also cannot, in this case, cannot determine anything. So here if we see, D can determine D, reflexive rule, any attribute can determine itself. Now CH we don't have, A we don't have, B we don't have, E we don't have, F we don't have, anything we don't have. So D, closure of D gives only D. So D is not enough to be the candidate key for the relation schema. Okay. So now what we do, we now one attribute, if one attribute candidate key was possible, D definitely has to be that particular candidate key. Okay, D definitely has to be, and D is not giving us candidate key. Now let us move on to 2 attribute candidate key. 2 attribute, because we are moving in the minimal, we have to find the minimal key, okay, and not the maximal key. We are not asked to find out the super key. And also one thing is, when do we say that a particular set of attributes is key or candidate key or super key? If it is able to, if the closure of that particular attribute is able to determine the set of all attributes in the relation schema. Okay, so closure of any set of attributes that are able to determine A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, that can be the key or super key or candidate key of the relation schema. Okay, any set of attributes that are used to uniquely identify one tuple. How will you identify one tuple, or how will you find out the candidate key? If given the value of some attribute, you can find out the value of all attributes of the relation schema. Okay, so whatever key or super key or candidate key is, the closure of that particular super key or candidate key will be able to give us the set of all attributes. Okay, now since we are asked to find candidate key and not super key, we are going in the minimal order. Okay, we are going one by one. Okay, yes. So now if you see, so one attribute with D, it's not possible. D is able to determine only D. We are looking for the set of attributes that determine everything. Okay, so now for 2 attribute, D definitely has to be there. Anything else we can add or not add, but D definitely has to be there. Okay, so AD, we can add BD, CD, all combinations with D, ED, FD, GD, HD. You are getting my point? We are finding the minimal set of attributes that can determine the all set of attributes, right? So D definitely has to be the part of candidate key, because it is not functionally dependent on any other attribute. Okay, so D is definitely included, but with all of this also, so D is definitely needs to be included, and D individually cannot give anything. So we are testing with other. Let's go for 2 set of attributes and see if any of these is candidate keys. Okay, so let's say AD gives, if AD we find out the closure, AD gives AD, reflexive rule. Now CH gives G. Does do we have CH? No. A gives BC. A we have? Yes. B, C. Now this is the set of attributes we have, and using this now we are going to find out progressively what all attributes we can derive, right? Now B gives CFH. Do we have B? Yes. CFH. CFH it is giving. Okay. Now E gives A. Do we have E? No, we don't have. F gives EG. F gives EG. Yes, F we have, so EG. So how now any other? CH gives G. CH gives G, we already have. A gives BC, already have. B gives CFH, already have. E gives A, everything we have. So now we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, all attributes we have. So AD is a key, candidate key, okay. Now BD, okay. BD can determine BD, right? Now what else it can determine? CH we have? No. A we have? No. B we have? Yes. So B determines CFH. C, F and H. Okay. Now E we have? No. F we have? Yes. F determines E and G. Okay. F determines E and G. Now CH determines G. CH we have, determines G. G we already have. A determines BC. Do we have A? No. B determines CFH. B determines CFH we already have. E determines A. E we have now, and it can determine A. Now if you see, we have got the set of all attributes. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Done. Okay, so this is also a candidate key. Now CD. CD determines CD. H we don't have. A determines BC. A we don't have. B we don't have. E we don't have. F we don't have. Anything else we can determine? No. So this is not a candidate key. Now ED plus ED. Now what we can determine? CH we don't have. A we don't have. B we don't have. E we have. E determines A. Okay. F determines EG. F we don't have. Now CH determines G. We have to keep going in again and again until no more other attributes can be determined. CH determines G. CH we don't have. A determines BC. Now A we have, BC. Okay. Now B determines CFH. B we have, yes, CFH. Okay. E determines A. E we have. A also we have. F determines EG. F determines E and G. E we already have. G we didn't have. Now G. Now if you see A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, everything we have. So ED is a candidate key. Right? FD. FD, let's start with here. CH we don't have. A we don't have. B we don't have. E we don't have. F we have. E and G it determines. Okay. Now CH determines G. C we don't have. A we don't have. B we don't have. E determines A. So A. F determines EG we already have done. Now CH determines G. CH determines G. H we don't. C we don't have, and H also we don't have. A determines BC. A determines B and C. Okay. Now B determines CFH. C, F, H. Okay. Now E determines A we have. Now we have everything. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, everything. So FD is also a candidate key. Now GD. GD determines what? CH determines G. C we don't have. A determines BC. A we don't have. B we don't have. E we don't have. F we don't have. So that's it. HD. C we don't have. So HD we can write. C we don't have. A we don't have. B we don't have. E we don't have. F we don't have. So these are not candidate keys. Now this we have found. So these are the candidate keys. Okay. Now this two and this two. Now what will be the super keys? Let's say if so, how many candidate keys relation have? 4. We will stop at 4. This is the answer. Okay, answer. But let's say if we have to find out super key, will A, D, C be super key? Yes, because AD is already a key, right? If you add anything to it, of course it will be able to identify each tuple uniquely. If I add C here, definitely we can identify everything, right? So what is a super key? The closure of that should be able to identify everything. If I add C here, it will be able to identify everything, right? It's not like it will not be able to identify, right? So ADC will be super key, BDA will be super key. So because BD is already a key, if you add anything to it, it will definitely be able to determine everything, right? So this is what super key is. Okay, now let us move on and do some more questions on this. So in this question it is being asked what is the key for R, and I don't remember exactly which year this was asked, but it is a GATE question. So consider the relation schema R is equal to E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, and these are the set of functional dependencies that are given, and then it asks what is the key for R. So what was our procedure? First figure out all the attributes that do not appear on the right hand side of any functional dependency. Why? Because these particular attributes cannot be determined from any other set of attributes, and only if their value is explicitly given can we figure out their values, right? So it cannot be functionally determined by any other set of attributes, right? So we find out those particular attributes, and they have to be compulsorily be a part of candidate key. Okay, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. Okay, now let's see. E, F determines G, G falls on the right hand side, I, J falls on right hand side, E, H determines K, L, K and L fall on right hand side, K determines M, M falls on right hand side, L determines N, N falls on right hand side. Okay, it's causing confusion. Now these are the attributes which are not falling on the right hand side. If E, F, H, these three cannot be determined by any other set of attributes. So these three definitely have to be a part of key. Now let's see if these three are enough to find the key, or we have to add more attributes. Let's find the closure. EFH definitely determines EFH because of reflexive property. EF determines G, so G can be determined. F determines IJ, F is there, so IJ. EH determines KL, E and H we have, so we can determine K and L. K determines M, okay. L determines N, okay. So all attributes can be determined, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, right? So this is the key, right? This is the key, candidate key. So this is the option B. Now if you look clearly, you can also see that even if you find the closure of this E, F, H, K, L, so the other way of finding this is go through all the options and see whose closure gives all the set of attributes, right? So find out EF plus EF gives G, F gives IJ, EH, H we don't have, K we don't have, L we don't have, EF, G, EH we don't have, so we cannot determine, okay. So then A is not the key. C, if we find out E, F, H, K, L. Now this, if you see, is this closure will also give set of all attributes. Let's see, E, F, H, K, L already there on the left hand side. Now E, F, H, K, L already on the left hand side, right? So E, F determines G, F determines I, J, E, H determines K, L. K, L we already have, K determines M, and L determines N. Okay, so E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N all are determined. So if you see option B and option C, or both are determining the set of all attributes, but this is a super key and not a key. Okay, and if you determine E plus, it will not give much. E, only E. So this is how we figure out the answer. So this question was asked in GATE 2022 numerical answer type. So what it is asking is, consider the relation R with the given attributes A, B, C, D, E with the following three functional dependencies. AB determines C, BC determines D, C determines E. And now it is asking the number of super keys in the relation. Okay. So let's see how to do it. The same thing. First we figure out all the attributes that do not appear as the right hand side of any functional dependency. Okay. So A, B, C, D, E, right? Because any attribute that does not appear on the right hand side of any functional dependency is not functionally dependent on any set of attributes. So it must be included in the candidate key, okay? So C can be determined using AB. D appears as the right hand side of some functional dependency. E appears as the right hand side of any functional dependency. What does not appear is AB, which means that AB cannot be functionally determined by any set of attributes, right? Because it is not dependent on any set of attributes. So given any set of attributes, we cannot determine AB unless AB is present, right? So AB definitely needs to be included in the candidate key. Right, first we are finding the candidate key and then we are going to find the number of super keys. Okay, so AB must be included in the as a part of candidate key. So let's see if what AB plus can determine, and if AB is enough to be the candidate key of the relation schema, or AB is enough to find out the value of all the attributes, right? So what can AB give? AB determines C. Okay, so first write AB. Now AB determines C. BC determines D, BC we have D, C determines E. So AB is enough to determine all the attributes in the relation schema. So AB is the candidate key. Okay, so now it is asking what are the number of super keys in the relationship. It is not asking what is the candidate key, sorry, not the relation schema. It is not asking about the candidate key, it is asking about the super key. So AB definitely needs to be present, right, in the super key. How we form the super key? Super key is a superset of candidate key, right? So AB definitely needs to be present in the super key. Apart from that, C, D, E, we have 3 other attributes, right? Now these can be present or not present. So present, for C we have 2 choices, present or not present. For D we have 2 choices, present or not present. For E we have 2 choices, present or not present. How much is it? 8. So 8 is the number of super keys that we have for this relational schema. Okay, you can also see that. So what will be the super keys? Let's say ABC will be super key, ABD will be super key, ABE will be super key, then combinations, or AB itself is super key. It's key but it is also super key. So similarly all the permutation combinations will give 8, give the number of super keys in the relational schema, and it cannot get smaller than this because AB definitely needs to be present in the candidate key for all set of attributes to be determined, right? So these are the number of super keys. So yeah, this is all for this particular video, and if you like this, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, press the notification bell so that you get notified every time I put up a new video. We will cover we are going towards normalization. We will cover that in the subsequent set of videos, and we will move towards equivalent set of FDs, maybe one or next lecture or next to next lecture I'll cover that, and or minimal cover of FDs and all those topics. And yeah, that's all for this video. Stay tuned. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.